one key piece of advice I'd give someone who is frustrated that they're not, improving as a photographer, just spend a month, 2 months learning about one setting and putting that into practice. So for me, I've been really focusing on aperture, especially since I bought my Ricoh GR3X, because it's a fixed focal length. It's, can do 2.8 aperture, but I've been mostly shooting around 4 to 5.6. And that's helped me kind of improve my composition and also just getting used to aperture. Something that I was guilty of when I started photography, which I think a lot of photographers do the same, you tend to just shoot wide open for any and every scene, putting your aperture at the widest point. 1.8, 2.8 aperture, 1.4 even. I think for me that came from mostly just because I was doing concert photography to start with, where you need those wide apertures. Are like the most commonly used apertures for concert photography, just because you need to be able to let a lot more light into the lens when you're, shooting in low light conditions. But then I would go out and try and take landscape photos at 1.8 aperture and wonder why I was getting aberration on all my photos. So yeah, I think just picking one. I think shutter speed is probably the easiest setting to learn if you want to start out. If you're a beginner photographer and you want to learn one setting, shutter speed is kind of self-explanatory once you get the very basics down. Aperture is a little bit more nuanced. ISO, pretty self-explanatory, but I think a lot of people don't understand how ISO affects highlights, especially if you're shooting like a landscape scene or a sky. So yeah, my advice would be pick one setting, stick to that for a month, review your work as often as you can, even send it to friends, other photographers, get their feedback. If you're, photography is one of these things. Oh wow, cormorant just flew by. There's one of these art forms that is art and science. Like, you're using a machine, you need to be able to control the camera in your hands to capture what you want to capture. And the same goes to editing as well. Is science-based, it's not just art. And recently I've been trying to shoot aperture priority a lot more, just to kind of I think obviously learning manual is the best thing to do as a new photographer, but once you know how settings work and interact with each other, using something like priority, aperture priority, shutter priority, even program mode can be really good, because you are focusing a lot more on one of those settings in the exposure triangle and using that to your advantage. One thing that's also going to absolutely help you improve as a photographer is just simply taking more photos. I've found I've taken maybe 10 times the amount of photos this year compared to last year, just because I've had the Ricoh camera, so the small pocket camera, and I take it with me pretty much everywhere. Like, it's always in my pocket or my bag, and because of that I'm just taking a lot more photos than I would do normally. And that means, if I'm taking more photos, there's going to be a better chance that there's some photos in there I like, and there's going to be a chance that there's some of those ones I like which I love. It's also just good practice as well. Like, I'm out there just walking around the city, going on day trips, going to the beach, just taking a couple hundred photos. It's practice. Like, I can take the same photo with multiple apertures, multiple shutter speeds, ISO settings, just to sort of compare. And that's how you learn, is just going out and taking the photos. I think a lot of people, they just take their camera out when they're going specifically to a photo shoot, or maybe they're going to a concert, maybe they're going to the beach and they want to take a picture of a specific thing rather than just carrying it around and snapping away. Like, there's no harm in just using your camera what it's meant for and just capturing as much as you can. Because photography has such a low entry barrier, to get into, meaning anyone with a couple £100 can go out and buy a camera, buy a second-hand camera, buy a lens, start taking photos. That it's very easy to sort of dilute the amount of photos you see online and get a little bit mixed up in what's good and what someone thinks is good. And Instagram has always been pretty heavy on that, but I think now, just because of the way the algorithm works, you don't necessarily see the photos of the people you follow, and even then you might not see the first image they've selected. You might get the fourth or the fifth image in a carousel. The woodpecker is back. I see two woodpeckers, three green woodpeckers. Hang on. Obviously, if you're getting into any sort of page photography work, you need to be confident of what you're doing. And when I say go out and practice more and try different things with your camera to develop your skills, I don't mean just sign up to do a wedding with no experience and be the only photographer there. Magpies are now chasing the woodpeckers. Always going to have to take a risk when you step into different sort of niches of photography, but at least having a little bit of practical experience is going to help you in the long run, for sure. Anyway, I've been babbling for a little bit too long, but I'm going to leave some photos in this video that I've taken today. It's not a very good day for photos. It's extremely overcast. The grass is all dead. The plants are not looking their best. There's not really a whole lot in this area that really suits my style besides the occasional animal. But yeah, thank you for watching. Follow for more.